Braden Erbacher was a young 20-year-old motocross racer from Queensland who loved racing his bike and loved playing his guitar. His younger brother Damon and dad Ash are both MX racers and just your typical happy-go-lucky moto family. Braden was tragically taken from his family and wider motocross community back at round 1 in Wonthaggi during a racing accident. On behalf of ProMX and the entire motocross paddock, our thoughts, prayers and condolences go out to the Erbacher family and all of Braden's close friends. We dedicate today's telecast and today's racing to the memory of number 59, Braden Erbacher.
Hello and welcome to round 2 of the Penrite ProMX Championship presented by AMX Superstores. We have arrived an hour south of Sydney, surrounded by gorgeous national park in the historic town of Appin, home to a technical quality motocross track that many are excited to revisit on this calendar. And on to MX2, where another Honda rider took out the win for Moto2, Wilson Todd, but it wasn't without controversy.
Wow, we had all kinds of carnage going on in that first MX2 race, that's for sure. We had a staggered start, restart of the race, but yeah, look, I'm going to say that my initial response was Crawford's penalty was pretty hard, losing all of his points for Moto1 as well as a fine. But as the week went on, started to find out more and more information and found out the final bits of information yesterday, so we were right across it for the commentary. So a little more on that later, but yeah, I think a little bit on the harsh side for Nathan Crawford.
Well, Hogs, I hope you brought your sunscreen because it is going to be a scorcher, 39 degrees today. But before we get into the racing, let's take a look at the Appin motocross track that we have ahead for us today with yourself and the one and only Danny Ham.
It's been around 4 years since we've been to Appin for a national level race, and anyone that was here in 2019 will know just how bad it was. It was an absolute mud pit. Complete polar opposite here today. We have beautiful sun, the clear skies, and that in effect is also going to play against these riders this week, and we will touch on that later on. But right now, the track itself for this Michelin track preview is showing us a beautiful surface right now. They have thrown plenty of water into the track, but there's a few key factors that are going to play into it. And it starts right here on the start line. You can see right here on the start that the riders themselves are going to have to deal with a dirt start. Now, the ground itself is so rock hard. You can see it right here. And that is going to be the surface that these riders are having to face when they go out there. Their ruts, although they're going to be deep, are going to be very hard and slippery. So they'll be searching for some nice soft dirt. The other thing is the position on the start line. All the way out here on the outside, you have to travel around about 15 meters further to get to the inside for the first turn. So you do not want to be out there. The same on the other side of the track. Right to the inside, you actually have to turn right before you turn left. You're going to get pinched out really bad as you go through there. So the ideal position that you want to be in right here is these 10 or so gates right in the middle of the track. You've got the 5 on the inside, the 5 back to here. If you can do that, you can get yourself a nice straight line down into that first turn, hopefully get there first.
There's so many cool things to talk about here at the Appin motocross track. We've got dirt that quite possibly forms some of the best straight line and corner ruts that we'll see throughout the whole series. We're also in a little bit of an amphitheatre style shape here where the spectators can see basically everything. It's awesome viewing. But for me personally, my favourite part to this track for 2023 is this brand new triple jump. It is 30 metres stepped out. Now that's bigger than any triple you'll find on a supercross track around the world. Not just here, we've got another triple 30 metres of distance on the far side of the track going up the biggest of the uphills. But all I know is whoever had the final say in track design here for 2023 had some serious airtime in mind.
The final thing that the riders have to deal with this weekend is simply the track surface. Now you can see underneath us right now that it has a lot of water being thrown down into it for good reason. You can see how clumpy, how sticky this dirt is right now. And this is going to affect the bikes as well. They'll become very, very heavy underneath the riders and difficult to ride as well, especially if you're on these 250s where you have a bit of a less powerful bike. The other thing is simply the weather above us. It is hot right now, and it's even hotter tomorrow. 39 degrees is a predicted temperature, and that there is going to dry this track out a lot. It's going to bake in, it's going to become hard. There will be ruts everywhere. This is going to be a technical track, one of those tracks where the riders will really have to take their time to make sure they get around here cleanly. And finally, of course, the elevation. Now, it's not as aggressive as what we'll see later in the championship, but we are riding up and down hills. It makes a beautiful amphitheatre, as Lee said, for the spectators that come out here and watch this race live on the day. And that there gives you a great example of how this track will form up in this week's Michelin Track Preview.
But let's get down to the Maxxis tyres MX3 lineup. Kai Woods was our first place in Moto number 1, absolutely dominating. Jack Mather we'll touch on soon. Liam Owens, Connor Towell, Kobe Drew, Campbell Williams, Alsop. There is so many big names, fast riders in this one, Lee.
Absolutely. This MX3 class has just been a revelation. So good to put the juniors up against the younger seniors.
And we are set to get this one underway already as the gates go down. Remember, the start, all important. Now, the track has changed considerably since these guys have been out because the track works.
Riders all over the place.
Track works have been done between the races.
Connor Towell with the whole shot. Kai Woods back there in 3rd place, trying to pick up the Yamaha rider in 2nd.
By the looks of it, according to our scoring. So a good start by these. Oh, one rider going down. That is 147, Frederick Taylor. And it looks like Jack Mather could be there in 3rd. No, that's Travis Lindsay in 3rd. So interesting to see where Mather sits at the moment, as we can't see him on our scoring at the top 10 at least. As a small mistake there was done by Towell, and already the charge by Kai Woods up the inside. Looks like he has made that pass already. And indeed he does. Moves to the front of the field. Up to the top there, the Matrix concept hole shot. Of course, Connor Towell, the 22, now sits there in 2nd place.
Well, over the last couple of years, haven't we seen a huge number of hole shots from Connor Towell? Just needs to put it all together. But I tell you what, it is looking like a very clean day for Kai Woods, who took a sensational win in Moto number 1 of our Maxxis MX3 event here today.
Wow, how's this? It was Mather. I made the mistake before. It was Mather that was back there. He has just made the pass, almost made the pass there into 2nd in the 1 turn. Nearly got a 2-for-1 deal, and sits there in 3rd place. Now, I got a chance to go down and have a chat with Mather during the lunch break as well, and he is in pain. He has had a bit of a tweak of the knee, a previous injury in Moto number 1.
What is it with plastics coming off the side of the bike here today, Danny?
I don't know, but that certainly, again, will be a distraction. So yes, in Moto number 1, a good, strong performance. He liked this inside line here. It runs him down the inside and potentially makes the pass very close. But yes, he said he has got that knee injury leading into this one. During the first race, he stabbed it again. So he just needs to protect that knee. And that's what you mentioned in the first race, Lee. It looks like he's just trail riding around, keeping those feet on the pegs and just saving any chance of those knee getting ripped off the bike. So he is out there having a great ride. Passed there by one of our other guys.
Now, one of the big hitters that we aren't seeing up the pointy end of the field at the moment, who featured in our top 3 in Moto 1, is Byron Dennis. He's back in 9th place now. He's made up a couple of places already, but he needs to keep climbing forward because trying to pick up if we...
Yeah, Dennis is a couple of places behind these 2 guys right here. Jet Alsop also just came into view for a second. There in 3rd place on screen is Cade Kingsford. So he had a good, strong run in Moto number 1 as well. There is
Connor Towell, yeah, looking in fine form at the moment. Jack Mather back there in 2nd place.
Yeah, we according to our scoring, Kai Woods has gone missing. I don't know if maybe the scoring's missed it, but this here could be the battle for 1st and 2nd. We'll have a look at top of screen. No, he's still there.
Okay.
So it's just our timing that is, or our scoring that is a little bit messed up at the moment, but it looked like if you look to the left of screen just here, there's a rider there.
Yes,
yep.
Okay, 100%. The yellow number. And once again, for our fans at home watching that aren't
you know, huge followers of the sport. Any of the riders that you see with yellow numbers on the bike, they're a junior. So they're either 14 or 15 years of age. So our white numbers are our seniors that are either 16 or 17 years of age. So if you have a look to the very head of the pack, we've got some yellow numbers in the lead. He won our first race, and what a credit to him. He's doing a fantastic job here today, young Kai Woods.
So going on with that, plastic's falling off the lead where it's sitting. The back bolt looks like it's on the front, one has fallen out. That there would be sitting into the back of his boot as he stands up through all of these corners. So very distracting, not knowing exactly what it is that is pushing in the back of the boot there. This is a good ride though by our second place rider in Connor Towell on the 22 machine. He wasn't quite up there in the first race. We saw that he was a little bit further back. A bad start might have done that to him.
And once again, full credit to our number 43 Husky rider, Jack Mather, who, as you mentioned a little bit earlier on, if you watch him closely, he's keeping both feet on the pegs a lot more than usual. And I really like watching what he's doing. He has no choice but to do that because he's carrying an injury at the moment. He's just, you barely ever see him take those feet off the pegs today.
He was limping in the pits, man. I walked up to him and said, whoa, that looks painful. I've been there. I know what it's like to have a damaged knee and trying to race at the same time. Oh, Towell with a mistake. Is that enough?
Leaves the big uphill triple, comes up just ever so slightly short, but it's almost got a little bit of a case pad on it, that one. It's nice and friendly. Unable to jump that whole uphill triple, Jack Mather. Didn't lose too much ground in the process. He's got some really good lines going on in the corners.
Mather just wants to get some good points. So have a look at this. Watch for the mistake here by Towell, just a little bit unbalanced.
Got tipped up a bit mid-corner.
Yep. Yeah, so almost the pass made there. Impressed that Towell still managed to get up and over it.
Sent it with a seat bounce.
Yeah.
Gutsy, I like it.
So fourth, fifth, back there behind these two guys, looks like it's heating up as well. That is Owens and Hantis. So there's little battles going on everywhere. These two, oh, Mather, and that hurt.
That hurt. You could feel that. He's just riding through such pain at the moment. What an amazing effort for him just to even be out there, let alone up the pointy end of the field like he is.
I cringe because I can feel that myself. I know what it's like. It is excruciating pain. And he told me he did a lap or two where he was just yelling and screaming at himself, trying to deal with it. Have a look at this. The front wheel just slides a little bit. No, the back end.
Oh, and it's a dab.
It's just that dab and the pain, you can see it.
The dab of the left foot. And you know, apologies for us here in the commentary, but we can just, the ooh that you get from us, we're feeling the pain because we've been through it, and we know how tough it is for him out there, and even more so now, just up on those pegs. So,
well, our timing has just changed again. I think this is just our timing being messed up, or has Kai Woods had a problem?
Kai Woods is just here, just in front of Jack Mather.
Yeah, so he has had a crash. So Towell now leads this one as he heads up towards that triple at the back. So I wonder what the mistake was just there. It's easy to tip over in one of these ruts. There he is, our early leader and the race one winner.
A big foot dab and then over the exit of that rut. No problem whatsoever, sending the triple.
So yeah, things changed that quick. Let's head down to Kate.
Just an update on Campbell Williams in Moto2. He rode a bit tight. There was a bit of stress involved and heat as well. Heat is starting to have an effect on the riders out there.
Yeah, we saw that in Moto number 1. It certainly wasn't the Campbell Williams that we're used to seeing out there. It is difficult conditions, and this heat, as you said, Kate, is starting to play against these riders. 37, it says on our temperature gauge here on our timing. So certainly creeping up there in the heat. And if you're not used to this, if you're a southern rider, someone that's in the cooler areas, this heat would definitely be playing against you.
So Connor Towell continues to lead. He's got just a 1.3 second gap now over Jack Mather. In 2 seconds it is back to third place with Kai Woods, but a great little battle going on here. There's Byron Dennis. He's back in 8th place. He's trying to make a little bit of a charge there. It's all over the back of Kobe Hantis.
And Alsop just there in front of them as well. So you mentioned how he wasn't there early on in this one. Gets the pass made, so nice ride by Dennis. Strong ride once again. I know he wants to be up there battling it out with these front runners. And I tell you what, Jed Alsop is actually the fastest on track that last lap around. Actually, no back there to Seth Birchall, but there's only 0.009 between them. So a couple of these guys a little further back in the pack are starting to really step it up now. This could tighten things up at the front.
Yeah, absolutely, Danny. As someone the likes of Jed Alsop, I put on level pegging with Kai Woods, right? So if you see Kai Woods winning the last one, Jed Alsop a little bit down the list, I kind of expect them to be pretty close together. So I know Jet would have come back into the pits and gone, damn it, you know, we've got Kai up here winning, I need to be up there. So expect some big things from him in the last part of this race. Now I know he trains exceptionally hard, he won't be feeling this heat too much. So Connor Towell continues to do likewise at the head of the pack. He just needs to keep it nice and smooth. But have a look at the battle going on second, third and fourth.
Close between these guys. Husky rider up the inside there. That was Mather.
Teammates, Jack Mather and Liam Owens, both of them.
So Woods has got the pass made there. Oh, again, a big dab by Mather going through that corner. So he is certainly feeling it. And Owens right there behind him as well.
Yeah, this is great to see both of the T-Dub Husqvarna riders riding for Todd Waters on their factory Husqvarna team. One of them a senior, one of them a junior, and it's the junior that's all over the back of the senior rider, putting all kinds of pressure on. Let's go down to Kate.
Just an update on Connor Towell. I spoke to his mechanic about whether he can hang on to this lead. He's looking comfortable. He hasn't ridden much here, but his mechanic is worried about how the heat will affect him in this final 10 minutes.
Yeah, good point, Kate. Absolutely, 20 minutes plus a lap here, and some of these riders are just kids, really. You know, they're not used to racing at this level, and certainly not on a national level track like this, quite possibly one of the most technical tracks that we'll get all season, and to be edging up close to that 40-degree temperature range. All right, guys, time for a quick break. We are halfway through Moto2 of the MX3. When we come back, we'll head to the checkered flag. Welcome back to the Penrite Oils ProMX Championships, brought to you by AMX Superstores.
All comes into play. Look at this, the silent assassin with Alsop up the inside.
Well, Jet trying to make the pass, and he does. He throws it up the inside and gets past Liam Owens.
And you know what? No, Owens didn't expect that. And I think first and second, if they're not aware of these guys coming up behind them the way they are, they're going to be caught surprised as well.
Such a great ride from all of these front runners at the moment. Oh, so close to Jed Alsop's getting past. Kai Woods there in second place. He is all over the back of the Gas rider. Up the inside here, can he make an inside line work in this next left-hander? Off balance.
He did well.
Woods,
he did so well not to tip it over there. As we see, the big run up to this triple up the hill.
Oh, I thought Kai Woods was coming up shorter than he was. Have a look at the charge from Jed Alsop. And my apologies earlier on, I was commenting that Jed Alsop, a junior as well as Kai Woods, he's got those white numbers. That means that he's a senior. It's a...
Owen replying to the pass. Can he come back around the inside here? He does, but will he make it stick? Sits in behind there.
Beautiful pass by Liam Owens. That slots him right behind Kai Woods. This is played into the hands of Connor Towell, Danny.
So 2 more laps to go in this one. Time will expire, not this lap around, but certainly the lap after. Slow through the corners that time around was Connor Towell. That's allowed Wood back onto the rear wheel. Owen answered the call. Alsop needs to make a pass again as quickly as he can, just like he did last time, and not fall into the speed that these guys are doing if he wants to contest for this top 3 as well.
All 4 riders in formation here. Who's going to break first? A lapse of concentration, a slight mistake in a rut. These guys have just been faultless so far.
What a race this one has turned out to be, allowing the riders to move around a little bit as they go into a lapped rider, all 3 of them in behind them. The only rider on a different line there was Connor Towell.
All right, so Liam Owens all over the back of Kai Woods now as they launch their way up
No one able to get that step up. Such a difficult jump to get even for the 450s. But they're about to get to this tricky part of the track, Danny, where they get to the bottom and launch up the triple. Who will make it? Who won't? Could we see a change of position in this part of the track?
So Jed Alsop's been the one that's lost out the most at the moment. A little step out of the rut there for Woods, but still able to get up and over the top there as Owen tries anything, looking for something new to try and make that pass nice and early.
Down, the big step down. There's massive ruts at the base of that jump. Earlier on in the day, no one was jumping it all the way to the finish. Liam Owens around the outside. Can he make it stick?
It's a long way around the outside. We've seen that before. It looks like the pass is going to be made, but Wood manages to hold on just there. Sits there in second place. They will receive the last lap board this time around. Will this lapper get in the road? No. Well done by him.
Jed Alsop, did Jed
Yes,
almost,
he cleared him.
He cleared just.
Yeah, only just.
Only just. Now, last lap board out, and have a look at the gap between Conatale and back to Kai Woods. Is that enough? Can Conatale have the presence of mind to keep it nice and smooth? He just needs to hit his markers, hit his line spot on for one more lap.
It's funny how much energy you can find when you finally see that last lap board. It's been putting up with quite the battle at the moment up the front. He's managed to hold on and only just almost loses the front wheel on the very last lap just there.
That was a mistake that actually ended up being really fast through that corner. I reckon he almost pulled out some time there.
He had no choice. He had to turn that throttle, otherwise he was going down. So a small mistake there, but is that
Woods
playing
is
against him? Woods, Alsop on the back of Owen. Man, this could go down to the very last couple of corners. Outside here by Wood, trying something different. Can he slingshot around the outside on the final lap?
They almost come together. Conatale off the left-hand side. They are three abreast up the triple.
Owen moves into second place. I think they did come together only momentarily. Alsop tries to find an opening. So they go down. Lapped riders are coming into a very important part of the track.
Wow, how is this going to play out? We funnel down into an inside line here. Liam Owen elects to go for that smarter inside line. We have minimal passing opportunities here. They get back into formation. Inside line, no problem whatsoever for Conatale. He just needs to make his way through here. And it is basically single file now, Danny. Conatale has pieced it all together. A right, left, and he'll cross the finish line. What an amazing ride. And win number one for Conatale.
And what a fantastic race the MX3 just produced for us. That was so good to watch.
Second place, Liam Owens. Third place, Kai Woods.
There is Jack Mather riding around. He is just in front of Seth Birchall. He's gone back to sixth place. So he will finish out this race very sore, but picking up valuable points in his championship.
Now, obviously the incredible ride in race number one of the Maxxis MX3, the win going to Kai Woods. He has earned himself a very comfortable overall victory here with 45 points. But Liam Owens is 38, and also Byron Dennis, they're tied on 38 points apiece. Liam Owens will take second place with a countback. What a turn of events here.
The official the Maxxis Tyres MX3 results. Conatale, Liam Owens, Kai Woods, Jed Alsop, Byron Dennis moves through to fifth. Jack Mather, Seth Birchall, Kobe Drew, Kobe Hantis, and Cade Kingsford are your 10.
Brian King, Travis Olander, Campbell Williams back there in 13th place. 16th, Callum Dice, Hickson McGuinness in 17th. Back to Finley Manson, Seth Shackleton, Jack Kenny.
I tell you what, if we see more of that racing in the MX3, I am excited for this championship.
It's not very often that you see four that close. You might see two, maybe three is great. Four riders to be that close that you could throw a blanket over them, fantastic.
Let's head down to Kate, who is with Conatale.
He won a win that has been a long time coming. Conatale, well done, the whole shot. That was another hard-fought race for you.
Yeah, got off to a good start, got a whole shot. Kai went down around 3 laps in, and then Yeah, I just passed him because he was down, obviously, and then I just kept going. I just kept pushing. I didn't think I had it, but I just dug deep and I got it done.
Well done.
Yeah, big thanks to Chris Woods for getting my suspension sorted and my engine rocket ship. Yeah, big thanks to him.
Great work.
Thank you.
Let's have a look at the Pirelli lineup for MX2, Moto2, Wilson Todd, Alex Larwood, Nathan Crawford, Reed Taylor, Brodie Connolly.
Jace Cosford with a big ride in Moto number 1. Minia also. Reese Budd had problems in Moto number 1 with some goggles, and a few other big names as well. Also back here, a little further back than we expected. So I just want to touch on a few things that I got a chance to find out during the break after Moto number 1. We saw a strong return performance from Alex Larwood early on in Moto number 1. Great to see him back up there. However, a big crash, and I found out about it. He jumped off the jump near the mechanics area, landed in the soft spot, basically sent him straight over the bars, and he hit down very hard. Not injured, just completely covered in mud and just couldn't get going again. So great to hear that he is back out there on the start line. Hopefully we can see that kind of speed again in Moto number 2. Unfortunate for him though that he did go down Moto number 1.
Yeah, and ripped his peak off in the process, and devastating to see that, especially after, you know, such a unfortunate injury that he had that kept him out for a very long time. There we see a nice little close-up there of the stickers, a tribute to Braden Erbacher with the wings. It's just great to see every single rider here today running those stickers. And Reese Budd there, local home track for him, Danny.
Yeah, so not a great Moto number 1 for him either. We found out early on, thanks to Kate, that he returned to the mechanics area, grabbed some new goggles, as his goggles were destroyed for whatever reason, possibly a rock coming up, and destroyed that roll-off system. So early into the pits, grabbed some new goggles, went back out there, managed to get through to, I think it was around about 9th or 10th, somewhere in there, some very valuable points, but certainly not the start he wanted to the championship. He will certainly want to get a better start this time.
Now, Danny, we just saw there close up when we were having a look at those bikes and the front number plates. No metal grate for the starting grids here. As you mentioned in the track piece earlier on, but good to see there isn't much moisture down on the starting grid. I know a lot of the ProMX rounds we've been to, they really water the track. It ends up that the gate gets a lot of water on it as well, ends up really quite muddy. Here today, it's looking quite dry behind the gate.
So yeah, they've gone from complete traction at the last round to a slippery, hard surface rut this time. This just shows how the motocross rider has to adapt to the conditions they're in as the gates are about to set. The revs come up, gates are about to drop. Who's going to get to the first turn first? Big jump out by Yamaha up the inside. Honda, looks like Wilson Todd also up there.
Yeah, Wilson Todd, very clean. A rider on the far outside, stepped out sideways. Reese Budd, what a way to bounce back from his first race. Not the way that he wanted to have play out. But let's try to pick up Nathan Crawford. I think I saw him back in about 8th or 9th, perhaps, back there. Let's try to pick up where he is, because his arch nemesis is in 2nd place, Wilson Todd.
Larwood jumping around the outside, casing that double. He's back there in 3rd place. I also saw Minia with a good start. Larwood was in 7th when they crossed over the 1st sector. He is in there in 3rd, I think, now, up the inside, almost making the pass. There is Crawford to the inside.
Right a line through that corner. He passed like 3 people in one corner.
Barham there, just losing the front wheel as we look to the Dunlop Whole Shot Award. That goes, of course, to the 22 machine. Reese Budd turning around that Moto number 1 dramas. There is Wilson Todd 2nd. Larwood back there in 3rd place. So great starts by all of these riders.
Already we're starting to see Nathan Crawford just come into the picture in the background there, which we weren't seeing in those first couple of corners. So he knows he needs to make some moves already. He is coming.
That there is the first time an MX2 class bike has jumped the triple. They were not able to do it first time, or at least what we've seen on camera anyway. None of the guys, the top riders, were able to do it the first time. So Budd is the first of them to do it. Have a look at the background. Crawford already under the back wheel of Barham. He has to have passed at least 8 riders in this first lap alone. He is on an absolute mission at the moment.
He is on a rampage. Number 199, Nathan Crawford, after a fairly large win in Moto 1 here for the Pirelli MX2 class. It continues to be Reese Budd at the head of the pack, but I tell you what, some alarm bells need to be going off in the helmet of Wilson Todd. He needs to try to run and hide.
We saw a quick glimpse there of the 25 machine, Blake Fox. He sits there in 6th place, just in front of Caden Minia, and Reed Taylor, or Liam Andrews now, just moves up one more. But keep your eye on the orange bike. Have a look at Crawford up the inside.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Wow. What a pass. Now, I tell you what, if you could do that every lap, you'd be happy, wouldn't you?
Wow.
That was a sensational move. And again,
it's like he's riding around people, and that was
and stepped over. That's the first time I've seen a 250 step over. Oh, but is he down? No, just a small mistake up the inside. He's still there behind Barham.
Still there behind Barham, but he is he's trying to round up the Husqvarna rider, railing around the outside as they head towards the uphill step up.
Got up and over that one.
Very nicely. He is on an absolute mission at the moment.
As we said, the best way to answer all those questions out of round number 1, the penalties and everything that happened, is to go out there and blitz it. But there is a fine line right now between going out and blitzing it and putting yourself on the ground, and he has to be careful not to make those kind of mistakes.
Yeah, well, it was that straight before where I thought he overjumped just a tad. If you land cross-rutted, the problem wasn't where he landed, it was a little bit further down where he just carried that much speed. And I think that's the issue, that the track and how it's sort of built in at the moment is designed around a certain speed, and he's hitting these ruts at lightning speed.
So we did just get a glimpse of those provisional championship points that just flashed up for a second. Of course, the name that we didn't see there was Crawford, who, of course, won Moto number 1 here, but not featuring in those top points yet. He continues to ride like this. I believe it won't be too many rounds before we start seeing him shining up in the top end of that championship. And it is going to be a hard-fought battle right here. 38.1 is the temperature. It is creeping up right now and really testing these riders. The hydration they need to keep into themselves, the fitness they need to do to close out this race is going to be something else.
Oh, that's an interesting spot to be pulling the roll off there, coming into braking bumps. That's confidence. I would have got myself some tank slaps and had all kinds of dramas right there. But how is that rut speed? Though I can't begin to explain to you guys at home how difficult it is to do a rut when it has 2 separate hooks in it like that. It's just crazy.
Up to the inside, Larwood closes the door, but unfortunately it was left open just a little bit too much for Crawford to sneak that front wheel in. He blocked that door being closed on him. Manages to move into 3rd now, as too does Wilson Todd onto the back wheel. In fact, he's made the pass.
There's the pass that we knew had to happen if he had any chance, because have a look at how fast Crawford's coming back onto the rear end of Reese Budd. Right, let's have a look at I believe we're going to see a Honda replay here, sticking it in the inside, and that was enough of a mistake for Wilson Todd. Just nothing exceptional that Wilson did. He was just in the right place at the right time. But what a race from Reese Budd. He's just getting around so much better than he was in that first race.
Larwood still holding down that 4th place. Now, it took a few laps in Moto number 1 for Larwood to start to shine, so maybe he's just back there learning some stuff as well, trying to figure out the best line. Here's the inside. Will that make the pass? He's certainly close enough. If he gets a good run out, he does with ease.
He's got 2 parts to the track here where he can basically just pick and choose where he wants to pass someone. So I believe once he gets onto the back of Wilson Todd, if he can get up onto the back of Wilson Todd, he's got 2 parts to the track where he is crazy fast.
Here it is, watch to the inside, and this is the stand up and then tip in again. It's almost a square rut coming out of that, but it's just such a short line up the inside there.
It's just reading the second hook, which you need to be so comfortable to be able to do that.
So 1:47 is the lap times for both of our lead riders, 49, 50, 49, anywhere after that position.
Oh, I think it's just a matter of time, Danny. I think the pace and the intensity that we're seeing from Nathan Crawford, I think, is going to bring him up onto the back of the Honda machine.
If Wilson Todd can manage to hold him off for a few laps, maybe we'll see Crawford settle into a position there and try and regroup to make that charge a little bit later on. We know how strong he is later on the motos. He may do that, however, it doesn't look like it at the moment. He looks like he wants to make this pass. And your spot, Lee, I believe that's where he's thinking right now, is long as he can stay nice and close out of these next few turns, he's got that opportunity to dive to the inside.
When your brain is working at the pace that Crawford's is at the moment, all he needs to do is to stay as close as possible and put himself in the right position come this right-hander at the top of the hill. Get this rut right, be close enough to tip it into this right-hander. Here we go.
Close enough. My God, he was like 1.5 seconds back and still made the pass.
Wow.
I thought for sure he wasn't close enough that time around, but he proved me wrong.
Well, that was just on rails, that second part. He tipped it in, but I think to Wilson Todd's credit, at the bottom of the hill, he railed that left-hander.
So what do we see out of Crawford now? Here, here's a replay,
right.
The Honda replay. Look to the inside. Again, I thought he was way too far back. Wilson Todd saw that he was there on the inside and just let him have it. There was no way. So how does Wilson Todd respond to this? Does he try and pick up some new lines, see what he's doing differently?
Well, no doubt he will have picked up that line. Unfortunately for all of these huge number of people that have been passed by Nathan Crawford on that corner, it's too late now, okay? So Wilson Todd may pick up on that particular line from now on. It's not the easiest line to do. It's one thing to do it and give it a bit of a try, but to actually do it like you're on rails is quite difficult. So be interesting to watch closely with Wilson Todd and see if he does attempt to do that line the next lap around. If he does and he gets it right, tick that box.
One more lap down, 15 minutes to go in this one already. We are starting to get into some lapped riders. Fastest lap that time around. Holy dooly, 145.2 compared to anyone else, 147. He is going to open up a massive lead.
Now, he's the only one with this triple that we're seeing here. He's the only person that's soaking the first one and jumping the last two. The ruts are next level here at the moment for Nathan Crawford. He's just on rails.
Man, that was nice to watch. We see Crawford opening up this lead.
Didn't get to see Wilson Todd and if he'd actually tried that line that time around.
I tell you what, he is doing that jump almost better than a lot of the 450s. That bike certainly has some power underneath.
You know why? It's the corner speed at the bottom of the hill. He's probably carrying a gear taller than most of the others by the time he exits the corner. Reese Budd starting to reel in Wilson Todd a little bit.
So is Wilson Todd starting to tighten up a little bit after the fact that we saw Nathan Crawford blast around the inside of him? And can Reese Budd respond to that, pick up on his speed? We know Reese Budd is one of these guys that trains so hard. We expect to see that this intensity should be able to go all the way to the end of this race. Man, listen to the brakes of a couple of those bikes out there squealing.
Yeah, you would wonder, this heat that we're seeing, getting close to 39 degrees now, you know, if you ride your back brake and it starts to heat up, well, this extra heat out there, I'm sure that's not helping the brakes.
No, as our race leaders go past the mechanics area again, they'll be looking for some very important information as we head down to Kate.
Just got an update on Wilson Todd from Honda crew chief Mark Sunny. He's still banged up from round one, Wonthaggi. It's a long championship though, so he won't do anything stupid as he has a pretty secure points lead right now.
And that there is very smart as well. He is well aware of the points position. He does have those extra bonus points up his sleeve, which is great for him. But I tell you, he is going to be under fire by this guy here, the 22 machine, who have all picked up on that inside line now.
Yep. We're just a little late to pick up on that inside line. Okay, a little bit of a mishap there for one of our riders a lap down on the Kawasaki machine. Didn't quite pick up that number. But something that Reese Budd, he finds himself in an interesting scenario at the moment where he's keeping nice distance, if not possibly closing in on Wilson Todd, but he's also got his fellow Yamaha rider, Alex Larwood, not too far back, who at any moment could pounce. So you kind of find yourself in a bit of a sandwich position where you don't want to, I guess, make any mistakes and ruin the momentum that you've currently got going.
Bouncing back to the lap times, again a 145 by our race leader, 147, 148, anyone behind him. So he is maintaining that fast pace that he has had out in the lead. Remember, in Moto number 1, he opened up a huge lead over the rest of these riders. Currently sits out at 5.4. I got that way wrong. It's only going to extend here as they go across the finish line once again. Another lap complete, so he's dropped back to the 146. Still very quick time, 147 for our second place. And a 148 for third. So Wilson Todd has managed to open up just a bit more of a gap over his third place competitor there.
Reese Budd looking fantastic there, starting to come under siege now from Alex Larwood. All right, we are 11 minutes plus a lap away from the checkered flag here for Moto number 2 of the MX2. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Penrite Oils ProMX Championships, brought to you by AMX Superstores. Moto2 of the Pirelli MX2 class, and Nathan Crawford continues to do his thing at the head of the pack. Wilson Todd back there in second place. Reese Budd still holding on to third. That's just so single file, that chicane. The right-hander into the left-hander, you're kind of stuck in that one line. So some of the riders, they're trying to do their best to get out of the way, but sometimes they're just in survival mode out there and just trying to keep it on two wheels. Reese Budd up the inside there, making his way past that lapped rider, number 196.
Down into this left, we are starting to see some nice braking bumps developing, but not overly rough is the track at the moment, Lee. It is certainly got a few bumps here and there and some deep ruts, but compared to a standard motocross track that you think motocross, outdoors, big, rough bumps, you know, things we see. Of course, you don't have the sand whoops here, but you do see them on a lot of tracks. Not overly rough, but definitely technical with these ruts.
Yeah, and the ruts have taken some weird shapes today, and it literally started to happen from the very first practice session, which was the MX2 class. You could see at the end of the practice that, yes, it was so muddy. They were like, uh-oh, we're getting some really weird shapes going on in these ruts, and that just makes it so hard, and we end up seeing what we're seeing at the moment, which is like Nathan Crawford's favourite corner with the double hook. So, yeah, can't begin to explain how technical those things are.
Stepping down with 3.5 minutes to go left in this moto, about 3 or 4 laps. Guys are doing 148, so 3 laps potentially for these guys.
Have we lost Alex Larwood, or has Reese Budd just checked out ever so slightly? It looks like he's trying to spot the gap there. It looked like Larwood's just lost a little bit of time.
Opened up through those left riders. It started here the last lap around where he got caught up and then just snowballed over the next couple of laps. Next couple of corners. You just simply could not clear those left riders quick enough. His one bike expires there on the side, unfortunate for him. Maybe a pause from the
70, I believe, Benny Novak, that is.
There's a battle a little bit further back. Dobson, yeah, much further back than we expect to see him in this one. In fact, oh, there he is back there in 11th place. Another battle going on. Is that, I'm not sure who that one is, number 60. Is that Brock Flynn, I think, on the 60 machine? Yep.
Yeah, with number 46, Hugh McKay.
So McKay went down first moto, I think it was, in the second turn.
Got caught up in that, yes.
So a better run this time around for McKay back there in 10th place. Unfortunate for him out of moto number 1, but certainly keeping the pressure on here, trying to make that pass on Flynn on the number 60 machine there as they go through the AMX left-hander.
And Danny, just want to make a quick mention, back in 7th place, Liam Andrews, number 32, and he's on a new privateer team, the Spectro Elliott Brothers Honda machine. So great to see him out there doing his thing and back racing. Won Manny Jr. Aussie titles. We can see there Hugh McKay, his petrol cap. It's got the lead there. Yeah, the breather is just flapping in the breeze. You don't want to get petrol on yourself. Yeah, not on a day like this.
That's always fun, isn't it? Through the left-hander here goes McKay, trying to get up and over. Unable to jump the step up there. That is very costly when you're unable to do that one.
So just 1 minute 20 seconds on the clock here before Nathan Crawford will receive that 1 lap to go board. Moto number 2 of the Pirelli MX2 class. Nathan Crawford staring down the barrel of a double victory here. 2 wins from 2 starts. 10.3 seconds back to Wilson Todd in second place.
I want to touch on Dobson just a little bit. We did see him on screen moments ago. He had a very strong performance in the first moto. In fact, he made those passes in moto number 1, then actually went down and had to do it all over again. So it was a very strong performance, moto number 1. We're not seeing it out of this one in moto number 2. We don't know what's happened to him. There's potential that he had a moment, a crash, something early on, and he's working his way through. Have not seen that, but yeah, he isn't having the best of second motos. I know that we'll expect to see him up there at a higher point in the coming rounds, and I know that he will want to bounce that around and change that as well. So expect to see more from Jesse Dobson after this one, but they've got a lot of work ahead of him if they want to catch this guy.
Well, he's just on rails at the moment, Nathan Crawford. Once again, like this morning in Moto 1, you notice right the way till the checkered flag was waved that he did not change his intensity, including the last half of the last lap. So it'll be interesting to watch him closely and see if he does the same thing here. I just think it's an overall statement that he's trying to make. And, hey, you can't do any more than that. Everyone else is going to have to respond.
I haven't seen every lap time he's done, but every time I have glanced at it, he has been a second quicker than everyone every single time. So, or at least in that next second bracket. So he is definitely keeping that intensity going. A 50 that time around, just as we say that. So it's a little bit slower than what we've seen out of him. But as we enter into the last lap with a 10.8 second lead, quick glance over the shoulder, really doesn't need to throw that intensity out that high on the final lap.
Now, well, let's keep watching him and see if that does change, because still hooked into that left-hander here, up into the Crawford corner, the Gabrielle corner. I hope Mark Luksic, very proud sponsor of multiple products for us here, Easy Lift, Gabrielle. Let's see if Mark minds us sharing naming rights for the corner there with Nathan Crawford. All jokes aside, what a fantastic job.
To the right for the last time. I know that he'd be very pumped to see that last lap board. As we said, of course, these guys super fit, but it doesn't matter how fit you are, you're always going to be extremely happy to see that last lap board on a day. With this kind of heat, the effort that he has put in, the intensity that he has put in for this race to claw out such a huge lead, he'll be very pleased to see the checkered flag as he makes his way around this final half a lap of this race.
Last time over the big step down at the very top of the hill, the highest of the elevations, past the Penrite left-hander, about to tip it down into the right. He's opted for the outside. The shiny, slippery outside has no rut, and it has been his line choice throughout the whole race. Looking in fine form at the moment. A little bit of an overjump there, shake of the head as he lands. But we'll tip it now into the left-hander, and all he has remaining is the switchback before he will no doubt give us another fist pump, and that will make it 2 wins from 2 starts. Has a look up, no doubt. That is a tribute to our young lad, Braden Erbacher, who so many people will have devoted this weekend to. And what an amazing win for Nathan Crawford. 2 wins from 2 starts here at Appin, Danny.
So we take a look now at the Pirelli MX2 results. Of course, Nathan Crawford topped this one out. Wilson Todd, Reese Budd, Alex Larwood and Brody Connolly back there in 5th.
Caleb Barham in 6th place, Liam Andrews, Kate Minier, Brock Flynn and Hugh McKay rounding out the top 10.
Dobson manages to come across in 11th place. Yokoyama back there, we didn't mention. Jace Cosford after a strong one in 14th as well, so not exactly the one he wanted in Moto number 2.
Ryder Kingsford back there in 17th place. The New Zealander, Cody Cooper, back there in 18th, Danny.
Hard performance by all of these guys just to close this one out as the rest of the riders complete their races. The big field here. Great to see that the numbers still turning up here and filling out our gates for ProMX. Let's head down to Kate, though, who has our winners in this race.
In P3, Reese Budd, a whole shot from you, redemption from race 1. Well done on this podium.
Yeah, you know, that's what I need. I really needed that.
my performances the last 2 races just haven't been myself, you know, and that's all because of a horrible start. So I knew my Circo Yamaha machine could get me off to a great start, and I did exactly that, hooked up really well. So thanks to Dunlop tyres there, and just rode a really smart motor, you know, it was super hot, and Wilson and Nate, they're on it at the moment. So it was good to stick with Wilson towards the end there and not let him go too much. So for me, that's a really good comeback.
Well done.
Thank you.
And in P2, Wilson Todd. Wilson, you're trying to stay out of the sun here, obviously, because it was pretty hectic out there, but a smart, safe ride for you.
Yeah, for sure. I just got a pretty good start and made my way to the lead. Just, you know, just taking some easy lines and that. But yeah, I didn't have anything for the win today, so we'll just go back and hopefully gain some strength over these next couple of weeks.
Okay, well done.
Thanks.
And in P1, Nathan Crawford on the KTM, you were on a mission, my friend.
Had a point to prove. Interesting couple of weeks. I feel like I did a lot of speaking today without even using any words. So unreal day. Bike was unreal. Team, can't give it up to them enough. We work so good together, and we're only just getting started. So thanks to everybody in my corner, and we'll see you at the next round.
Well done, Nathan.
Thank you.
Overall victory here, Danny Ham.
Great day. Cannot wait to see the rest of this championship unfold.
Well, Appin, you certainly have delivered for round 2 of the Penrite Oils ProMX Championships, brought to you by AMX Superstores. On behalf of Danny Ham, Kate Peck and myself, Lee Hogan, thanks for your company. We'll see you next at Wodonga.